chosen one, draw nearer in this moment, for there is something important I need to place within your heart before the sounds outside. Once again, pull you away from stillness. I am not calling you through fear, nor do I want you to become troubled by what you do not yet understand. But I want you to pause long enough to realize that today is not an ordinary day in your journey. A message has tried many times to reach you through very small moments, through sudden inner promptings, and through those times when you were busy, yet heard a very gentle calling within your heart. You may have believed it was merely a passing thought, but I tell you that all of it has been leading you to this very moment. From the beginning of this new day, the higher realm has sought many ways to draw your attention back to what truly matters. You have come very close to an answer for which you once prayed. So close that, with only a little more patience, you will see what was previously concealed. Therefore, keep your heart quiet and do not hurry away. I ask you to remain, not because you are being forced, but because what has been prepared for you cannot be understood by a hurried mind. Some truths appear only when you are willing to stop, and some guidance becomes clear only when you cease struggling against yourself. Give me a moment of stillness, so that I may speak to you with a tenderness the world cannot imitate. Today carries a meaning far greater than what you can see upon the surface. A decision over which you once hesitated, a door you believed had been closed, or a matter you have grown weary of waiting for, is now entering a time of reconsideration. The past months have not passed without purpose. Every time you remained patient for one more day, every time you refused to answer with bitterness, and every time you chose to rise, instead of surrendering, you were quietly preparing for what is coming. I have seen every moment when you smiled to conceal your weariness, every night when you lay still while questions filled your inner being, and every morning when you told yourself to remain strong, even though you did not know where the strength would come from. None of it has been forgotten. Therefore, breathe deeply and allow peace to move slowly through every thought. What I am about to tell you is not intended to overwhelm you, but to help you understand that a shift began before you became aware of it. During the night that has just passed, matters concerning you were placed into a new order. Your name, the road you are walking, your safety, and a decision that had been delayed were all examined again in the light of mercy. Some things could not previously be placed into your hands, not because you were rejected, but because the time had not yet become ripe. Some doors had to remain closed until you possessed enough wisdom to walk through them without losing your peace. Now, what had long remained still is beginning to move. Within the unseen realm, there was a profound silence, as though every sound withdrew to make room for an important judgment. The angels looked attentively upon your journey, not to search for your mistakes, but to witness the growth that even you have sometimes failed to recognize. You have passed through many circumstances that could have caused you to close your heart, yet you still possess the ability to love. You have been misunderstood, yet you continued trying not to wound others. You have been disappointed many times, yet somewhere within you a small ray of hope has remained. This is what drew the attention of the higher realm, because true strength is not found in never falling, but in continuing to rise with a heart that darkness has not hardened. I need you to know that a council was opened concerning your future. The road ahead of you was regarded as a scroll that had been preserved for a long time, and each part of it was read with great care. The days when you believed you had been forgotten were brought to remembrance. The times when you helped others, even while you yourself were in need, were acknowledged. The tears you wiped away in silence, the prayers you never spoke aloud, and the sacrifices no one knew about, did not disappear. When all these things were revealed, a great truth about you caused the angels to marvel. You have been far stronger than you ever believed yourself to be. What was revealed was not that you are without flaws, but that you have been tested many times and have still preserved the goodness within you. Some people, after being wounded, chose to wound others. But you continued trying to restrain your words. Some, after being abandoned, sealed every door completely, but you still gave life another opportunity. There were times when you believed your tenderness was a weakness. But I want you to understand that tenderness, protected by wisdom, has become one of your distinguishing marks. I am not calling you to live without boundaries. I want you to know how to love without losing yourself, how to forgive without returning to the place that once destroyed your peace, and how to open your heart while remaining discerning enough to recognize what deserves to enter. For this reason, a choice that had long been delayed is now being brought closer to you. It may take the form of a change in your work, an encounter, restoration within your family, or an opportunity that leads you out of a season of limitation. I do not want you to become overly focused on guessing the form of the gift, because when you insist that everything must appear according to your own expectations, you may overlook the better way being prepared. Instead of guessing, become ready. Complete what remains unfinished. Bring order to your life. Stop postponing the small things you already know must be done. The preparation you undertake today will determine whether you are calm enough to recognize the new door when it appears. You must also understand that not every eye directed toward you carries a negative intention. Some people are watching how you overcome hardship because they need evidence that a person can remain kind in the midst of adversity. Some will be encouraged when they see you rise. Some have never told you, but your perseverance has kept them from abandoning themselves. Therefore, your future does not concern your benefit alone. When you enter restoration, you will possess the ability to support those who have traveled a road similar to yours. What you have endured will no longer remain only as a wound. It will become wisdom that enables you to recognize the pain within others, to continue receiving the reminders meant specifically for your journey. Keep your heart connected to what is pure and true. Do not allow noisy voices to make you forget what I am teaching you. Return to a place of stillness each day, even if only for a few minutes. Listen before reacting, reflect before deciding, and allow peace to become the sign that guides you. Genuine warnings will not drive you into panic. They will make you more discerning. Blessings that arrive at the right time will not cause you to lose yourself. They will help you mature. What comes from the light will not feed pride. It will make you grateful and awaken in you a desire to live with greater kindness. Now I want you to remember what matters most. You are not standing on the sidelines of your own life. You are at the center of a season of transformation, where what is old is gradually departing, and what is suitable is being brought near. Do not fear the silence that comes before change. Do not assume that stillness means nothing is happening. Great works often begin in silence. Just as dawn is prepared long before the first ray of light touches the horizon, your future has been opened before you, but you must still walk with responsibility, courage and humility. I will not leave you alone upon that road. Move forward, my beloved child, for what has caused the higher realm to marvel is not only what awaits you, but also the beautiful person you are steadily becoming. Last night, something drew very near to the path along which you are being guided, as though it were trying to enter through a small opening and divert the good things that are gradually taking shape in your life. I saw that disturbance before you became aware of it, and I want you to understand that not every threat appears with a loud sound or an event that is easy to recognize. Some influences arrive very quietly, through a word that causes you to doubt yourself, a hurried decision made in a moment of weakness, a person deliberately planting anxiety, or an old habit attempting to pull you back to the place from which you spent so long escaping. What appears small can touch the direction of your life if you are not alert, because sometimes a single false thought, repeated again and again, is enough to turn you away from the path your heart already knows is right. I am not saying this to frighten you, nor do I want you to view everyone with suspicion. I say it because you must learn to protect the peace you obtained only after passing through many trials. You once surrendered your power of choice to the judgment of others. You allowed another person's coldness to make you believe your value had diminished, and you permitted promises without a foundation to cause you to delay what was important. These things were like uninvited hands attempting to touch your future. They cannot take away what has been prepared for you through absolute power, but they can persuade you to turn away from an opportunity if you believe the lies they plant. Therefore, true protection does not consist only in my preventing evil from reaching you from the outside. It also consists in your learning to recognize what does not deserve entrance into your life, my beloved child. There are times when a small choice carries far greater meaning than its appearance suggests. Agreeing to something when you have no peace, deciding to give up because you are exhausted, or returning once more to a place that wounded. You can change the rhythm of your journey. It is like someone attempting to alter one line in a plan you are gradually completing. A single incorrect line may cause you to misunderstand the entire direction, but do not forget that you still possess the right to read it again, reflect, and make corrections. No one can truly determine your future for you as long as you preserve your awareness, self-respect, and ability to choose. I am teaching you not to react merely because you are being pressured, not to sign your name to anything through fear, and not to allow a moment of anxiety to decide what you will have to live with for many months or years. Perhaps you are wondering what came close to you during the night. I want you to understand it more deeply. Darkness is not always a mysterious figure standing outside you. Sometimes it is confusion trying to grow within your thoughts, an old memory suddenly returning, the words of someone causing you to lose clarity, or a false sense of urgency, pressuring you to choose before you have enough information. Whenever something makes you believe that you must act immediately or lose everything, stop. What is good does not need to control you through panic. Pure guidance may urge you forward, but it does not throw you into disorder. It may awaken you, but it does not take away your right to think. It may invite you to move, but it does not make you feel threatened for needing more time to understand. Before this day comes to an end, I want you to create a quiet moment and examine what is influencing you. Observe who continually causes you to question yourself. What is distracting you from your most important purpose? and which habit is quietly draining your strength. You do not need to search for a secret enemy in every dark corner. You need only be honest about what is wearing you down. It may be that you repeatedly return to read words that have wounded you. It may be the desire to receive approval from someone who does not value you. It may also be procrastination, concealed beneath the explanation that you are not yet ready. When you correctly name what is hindering you, you begin to reclaim your authority. Light does not need to argue with darkness, it needs only to be kindled. I know you are tired of always having to be strong, but vigilance does not mean remaining tense day and night. Vigilance means knowing when to move forward and when to stop, what deserves to be heard and what should be allowed to pass away. You do not have to keep every door open in order to prove that you are kind. Some doors must be closed peacefully. Some conversations must end because they do nothing but repeat the same old cycle. Some apologies are not accompanied by change, and you no longer have to regard them as evidence of maturity. Forgiveness does not require you to restore access. Love does not require you to remain where your dignity is continually disregarded. These clear and healthy boundaries will protect the journey you are building. If you feel an inner desire to respond at this moment, you may say Amen as a reminder to yourself that you choose awareness, wisdom, and freedom from the control of fear. But remember, the power is not found in typing a word outwardly. It is found in the decision you make afterward. An affirmation has value only when your life agrees with what you have spoken. If you declare that you are ready, demonstrate that readiness by no longer returning to the things that have repeatedly broken you. If you say that you believe in what is good, stop feeding thoughts that continually predict disaster. If you say you desire guidance, learn to listen to the voice of peace rather than the urgent voice of panic. Do not confuse silence with weakness. There are times when you must speak clearly, but there are also moments when maturity is revealed by refusing to respond to deliberate provocation. I want you to answer life from a place of stability rather than reacting in haste. True confidence does not need to shout loudly in order to prove that it is right. It knows its value, recognizes what is suitable, and possesses enough courage to leave places that no longer honor truth. When your mind remains clear, the schemes that seek to divert you will lose their power, because they can continue only for as long as you keep giving them your attention. Something real is taking place within you now. Your ability to discern is growing. In the past, you may have been easily carried away by attractive words or sudden emotions. Now you are beginning to examine consistency, consequences, and the character of what is approaching. You no longer ask only, "Will this make me happy right now?" You have also learned to ask, "Where will this lead me?" That is a sign of wisdom. A good opportunity does not merely look beautiful in the first moment. It also agrees with your long-term values. A healthy relationship does not merely stir your emotions. It also respects your boundaries, your time, and your voice. A right decision may not always be easy, but it will not require you to betray yourself. Therefore, do not allow time or a particular hour to become a source of fear. There is no moment when love from the spiritual realm suddenly turns away, simply because you did not react quickly enough to an urgent message. What is needed before this day ends is not panic, but honesty. Ask yourself what you are holding that needs to be released, what you are delaying that needs to be done, and whom you are allowing to enter too deeply before they have demonstrated that they are trustworthy. When you answer these questions courageously, you have done something more important than any outward ritual. You have chosen to become the gatekeeper of your own life. I have remained close to you during the moments when you did not recognize me. But I do not want you to depend upon fear in order to feel protected. I want you to mature in peace. What is good and intended for you is not so fragile that a stranger can steal it at will. It may be delayed when you lose your direction, but you can always return. It may be concealed by confusion, but it does not therefore disappear. When you preserve integrity, act with wisdom, and refuse to surrender authority to lies, you continue moving toward what is right for you. Now remain in stillness a little longer and allow these words to settle deeply within you. You do not need to live like someone who is constantly being hunted. You are invited to live as someone who knows where they are going. Close the doors of the past that no longer serve your growth. Cleanse your mind of thoughts that cause you to diminish yourself, and enter the remainder of this day with a steadfast heart. I do not lead you through panic. I lead you through light. I do not teach you to suspect everyone. I teach you to observe their character. I do not want you to tremble before the future. I want you to possess enough wisdom to protect what is beginning to grow. Be patient, my beloved child, for what must be revealed will become clear at the right time, and what truly belongs to you will never require you to surrender your peace in order to keep it. The things that once satisfied you have suddenly become dull, because something within you is awakening and will no longer allow you to settle for a life smaller than the person you are called to become. You recognize that familiar pleasures can no longer hold your attention. The activities that once helped you forget your weariness now leave behind an emptiness you cannot easily name. The repetitive rhythm of life that once provided a sense of security is beginning to resemble a set of enclosing walls. You have started looking at each day and wondering whether you are truly living or merely completing habits that were arranged long ago. You ask why your heart no longer rests within the things that once seemed sufficient, and why a quiet voice continually reminds you that another road, a deeper dimension, and a greater purpose are waiting for you. I want you to understand that these questions have not appeared to confuse you. They have come to awaken you from a state of contentment that has lasted for too long. There was a time when comfort sheltered you because you needed to rest and recover. It was like a roof protecting you from the rain during stormy seasons, giving you an opportunity to regain strength after being wounded. But a shelter is not a place where you are meant to remain forever, and a resting place cannot become the final destination of your journey. When you have healed enough to continue, what once protected you may gradually become a limitation. I am not disturbing your security because I want you to suffer. I am stirring it because I know you have outgrown the old form. Familiar doors are becoming narrow, not because you are ungrateful, but because your inner capacity is expanding. You no longer fit within a life built from fear, self-doubt, and the need always to choose the safest possible option. Safety can feel gentle, but if you place it above your calling, it will quietly keep you in a place you outgrew long ago. It tells you not to try because you may fail, not to speak because others may disagree, and not to step forward because you cannot yet see the entire road. It causes you to confuse familiarity with peace and the absence of disturbance with being on the right path. Yet, my beloved child, destiny does not always unfold within brightly illuminated rooms. There are steps you must take when there is only enough light for the portion of the road immediately before you. There are lessons you can learn only after leaving the old shore behind. I am not asking you to act without wisdom, but neither do I want you to use caution as a garment that conceals fear. Growth requires you to distinguish between the time to wait and the time to move forward courageously. Because this change is taking place, the noise around you is also becoming heavier than before. Endless streams of information quickly make you weary. Conversations filled with anxiety leave you feeling drained. Discussions that revolve only around judgment, pride, competition, or the need to prove superiority no longer bring you joy. You may have wondered why you have suddenly become so sensitive, why you require more moments of stillness, and why you no longer desire to be present in certain places as you once did. I want to reassure you that you are not necessarily becoming cold or distant. Something within you may simply be learning to recognize what nourishes your peace and what quietly takes away your strength. Or your awareness deepens, you will no longer consume every word, every image, and every form of influence that passes through your life. You are beginning to hunger for depth, because superficial things cannot satisfy a heart that has been enlarged. You desire conversations marked by sincerity, relationships with genuine presence, and work that carries meaning rather than merely filling time. You need truth as a traveler, needs clear water after a long journey, because you have grown weary of masks and things that appear beautiful outwardly while remaining empty within. This longing is not a defect that must be suppressed. It is a sign that you are being led away from what is artificial and brought back to what is genuine. I am helping you realize that not everything that attracts your eyes deserves to possess your heart. Not every crowded place offers belonging, and not every loud voice carries truth. Nevertheless, as you are separated from what is old, do not become quick to look down upon those who are still living according to what they have always known. True awakening does not make you arrogant. It makes you gentler and more discerning. You do not need to prove your depth by rejecting every simple pleasure, nor must you isolate yourself in order to protect your peace. What I am teaching you is how to choose consciously. Preserve what is pure, healthy laughter, people who help you live truthfully, and habits that make you stable. At the same time, possess enough courage to release what continually pulls you back into emptiness. Purification does not mean eliminating everything. It means learning to recognize what belongs to the new season, and what remains only as a remnant of an older version of yourself. When you feel that you no longer belong in familiar places, that season can become lonely. You have stepped away from the person you once were, but you cannot yet fully see the form of the person you are becoming. This is a place of transition, where the old answers are no longer sufficient, but the new answers are still unfolding. I know this feeling may cause you to believe that you have lost your direction, but sometimes no longer knowing. The old road is the first step toward discovering the right one. Do not hurry to fill the emptiness with another form of busyness. Allow yourself to remain in silence long enough to hear what is truly being placed within your heart. Seasons of transition require patience, because a seed cannot be pulled from the ground simply because the sower is impatient to see the green shoot. If you recognize yourself within these words, stop condemning yourself. You are not falling apart merely because the old things no longer make you happy. You have not lost your clarity because you are asking greater questions. You are not broken because you can no longer continue living as you once did. Some forms of brokenness genuinely require care and healing, but there are also moments that appear to be disintegration, when, in truth, a shell that has become too small is opening. I do not want you to neglect your emotional health, nor do I want you to call every pain a sacred sign. Seek support when you need it, and rest when you are exhausted. But do not deny that a profound process of growth may also be taking place within you. Awakening is not merely the feeling that something great is happening. It must become the way you live each day. If you are truly awakening, you will begin to become more honest about your choices and more responsible with your time, words, and relationships. You will not merely say that you desire truth. You will stop deceiving yourself. You will not merely wish for a purposeful life. You will become willing to discipline yourself in order to build one. You will learn to reduce the noise, devote time to stillness, cultivate talents that have long been neglected, and take small but consistent steps toward what you know is right. I am not calling you merely so that you may feel special. I am calling you to become useful, to love more deeply, and to bring light into the places where you have been positioned. Therefore, my beloved child, do not be afraid of the emptiness left behind by old things. That space may be a room being cleared so that something new can enter. Do not force yourself to return to pleasures that no longer suit you merely, so that you may feel normal again. You were not created to remain forever within a cycle of identical days, but neither must you change everything in a single night. Begin with one honest choice, one healthy boundary, one quiet hour, one meaningful task, and one courageous step that you have delayed. I will not pressure you through chaos. I will guide you through clarity that increases day by day. You are not being left behind. You are being called out of superficiality, brought closer to your true nature, and prepared to live a life greater than the fear that once confined you. You are not breaking apart. You are awakening, and I am here to guide you through every step of this new dawn.